Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot and More. My name is Nancy, and I'm here to perform my first Aquarius rant of 2021. It'll be just a moment before I begin. I have to set up my live stream, hopefully for a successful stream. Take some time. I'll probably begin at the 5-minute mark. I'm starting to move a little faster now. We'll see. Let's see. Throw up my thumbnail. This may take a minute for me to find. Thank you for your patience. I ask you to please like, to share my channel and this live stream, as well as to, what is it, like, share, and subscribe. I think that's it. Okay, yeah. That's it. It's still forcing embedding. I don't want that. Recording date is today. Home state of Michigan. Well, I hope YouTube hasn't found a way to stop me from making the adjustments they won't make. Okay, let me make, because that took a minute there. They froze that up. Let me enable live chat as well. For some reason, they had it disabled. Allow chat replay for anybody that may come in a little later, because I noticed that is usually the case. Let's see. What else do I have the option to do? I guess nothing else. Let me make sure my monetization is on without skippable ads. Okay, that's cool. That's copacetic. Now let me find my way to you, ladies and gentlemen, so we can begin. Let's see. Let's see. I think I click on that. Oh, okay. The next thing you'll hear is a sound check. You'll hear is a sound check. Oh, that sound check is complete. I'm on a page where I can interact with you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 3 minutes since I began. I did it in under 5 minutes, so I'm going to wait yet another 2 minutes to see if anybody comes into the room, because so far it shows that, let's see, I'll do it like this. I think I can do it like this. Does it show who's, okay, shows nobody thus far is in the room. Okay, so I will begin this live stream. Let's see. I'm already at the 5-minute mark, so it's impossible to begin at the 5-minute mark. Let's say I will begin this live stream. I'm just saying in just a short while. How about that? Thanks for viewing. Okay. Oh man, I think I put that in the wrong place. Did I? Yeah, I did. But that's okay. I know what to do. I'm still lollygagging behind the scenes, waiting to see if anybody come in the room. When you come in, I ask you to please hit the like bell. It may help my channel. And Happy New Year's to you all. Happy New Year's. Let's see. Okay. I did that. What else do I need to do? I got this little app that's supposed to help me manage my channel. All the things that I've been doing. But maybe I have to pay some money into the system of things to get things going. Still waiting a few more moments to see if anybody gets notification of this live. Because as of now, it shows that there's no one in the room. The counter only shows one. And that one is me. Let's see. What I'll do is I'll grab a bit of water before we begin. Oh, I got a glass full of water. No, half full. Okay. Because it takes a minute for people to come into the room and for me to set up my live stream, I will always include a timestamp when my discussion begins below each live stream that I make, including this one, which will be in the comment section. Gotta put water on the table. Okay. Okay. I guess I begin. Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot and more. My name is Nancy, and I'm here to perform my very first Aquarius rant for this new year of 2021. But I must let you know that I am a tarot reader, so if you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. At this time, I ask you to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Happy New Year's once again. Oh, ignore the stain. All right, let me see. Ooh, it says some folks is in the room. Hi, 1, 2. How are you? I hope all is well. So tonight, what I will be talking about is a little bit of everything. That's what I take the opportunity to do doing Aquarius rants. And so I have been led to go back down memory lane because I had to check myself. You said 2021 is off to a crazy start. I heard if you're talking about the run on the .gov, yeah, that's deep. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. We living in some really troubling and concerning times, unfortunately. So actually, these troubling times have been, on my mind. And so it leads me to have certain, I don't know, conferences with myself, kind of pondering and processing what's going on. I think that's the best statement, kind of processing what's going on. And so I have these determinations that I make. even though I make my own personal determinations. Y'all know that I hear from different ethereal beings, and it's been no one being in particular that I can point out. It's just been like a group of them talking to me. Everybody putting their input in. You says I was in the gym watching it on TV, but I thought I, I it was a movie playing. Wow. This is for this Aquarius rant. I'm going to offer a lot of TMI. I'm going to be going back down memory lane, you know, in my life. And when you said that, one, two, I understand that experience, because I actually had that experience on, what was that, 9/11 of 001, was it? Has it been that long ago? 19 years, 20, almost 20 years. I was at the eye doctor, and they had me in this machine with all these little grid things going on, checking my eyesight. And the, I guess, optometrist or whomever they were, some type of tech, I was at the retinal doctor or whatever it's called. So my head is in this machine, and they got a radio playing in the background, and they're narrating everything that was taking place in New York during that time period. And I had the sensation of, what is it, Orson Welles, you know, story about him talking about the aliens coming and how it panicked the people, like, and I don't remember what time period it was, 1950s or whatever it was. It was that kind of experience where I thought I was listening to a radio story time or something like that. And when I'm like just in the machine talking about, wow, wow. And so the technician or the doctor, whomever he was, is like, isn't that crazy? Who would think something like that would happen nowadays? You know? And I was like, oh, this is real. And I yanked my head out the machine in the middle of the test. This real? And he was like, yes. And it started that conversation. So I know probably, I do believe I understand what you may have experienced in that moment. I visually haven't seen it. I just heard it by word of mouth. I don't watch the news. Most news I get is here on YouTube. Somebody has to tell me about it, and then I'll go watch it. Or I might see some type of headline or something when I sign on the Facebook. Hello, how are you? Is that I have a reading deficiency. Chandra, you say I have a question. Will we wake up this year? Will we stop putting up with politicians and their Babylonian witchcraft on us? I hope so. See, here, doing this Aquarius rant, I'm going to kind of be talking about that. You say you want to see the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds in prison? Me too. And so I want to talk about that a little bit here in the course of this live stream, because, again, I've been sitting up. When I say the spirits have been talking to me, number one, I've been processing everything that's going on in our world, and I'm coming up with my own, you know, points on it. But I got all these energies or entities speaking to me. It's like a conference going on, and all of this has happened just since 2021 has come into being. And the concerns and the questions that you have, is it Chandra? I've been conversating with these entities about the very same thing. I'm like, my question is, and I don't want to jump too far ahead away from my papers, but my notes and my paper, but what is it about the majority of the population, the 99 percenters, the quote-unquote sheeple, that we not moving on these mother suckers? For real. Enough is enough. Now, that part of my presentation today, I was thinking about actually extracting, because I was going to cover that subject matter, that topic, but from the ebony, I called it the ebony experience. That's to say black people. And these entities that I, commune with help me understand something. And so I guess I won't just discard it from this presentation since you brought it up. You say, baby, that don't help me none. When I say I'm reading deficient, I'm reading deficient. I'ma figure it out. Shonda. Shh. I'm reading deficient. I'll get it one day. You'll give me an example of how to pronounce it in a field goal. Every time. Every time I go live. Who the is it? It's okay. So I'm having this conversation with these entities. Thank you for being so understanding. Um, who is it? This is going to be a long live stream because I got a bunch of ranting I want to do. I want to share my experiences. I want to share the messages that I've received. So I'm going to start where Cedra has started me. The part that I was going to get discard. Maybe I'm not supposed to discard it since you came right here on that subject matter of, you know, are we going to wake up this year? Are these people that are empowered, the 1%ers, the people that are really pulling the puppet strings, are they going to go to prison? You know, is all of this insanity going to stop? Because it's all spinning out from them. And so I'm going to speak from the perspective in which the entity spoke to me. And this was just yesterday or the day before, because I was going to go live yesterday and didn't, because I was pondering if I'll go over this. What they were saying was, let me read my notes. I'm going to read what I have here, and it's quite offensive. Remember, I'm coming from the ebony perspective, that's to say the black folks perspective. And it says, what were they saying? Where is that? Oh man, it should be. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's here. Where is that? Because I was going to cut it out. See, all of these. This is like I said, this is going to be a long live stream. I thank you for staying around for as long as you can. I don't know if I'm going to finish it all. Okay, yeah. But this is all the messages and things that I've been receiving. Okay, it's called the outrage. When I write out my outline, I have these categories, and the category is outrage. But outrage is a part of a two-part category, and the initial category is talking on the subject that you have brought up. The category, oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I've been in the conference meeting. Let's see. So where is D at? Oh, agents and outrage. Agents and outrage. I'll just go straight to the outrage part. And this is what I was told. Which this, the occurrences today, the insane, crazy occurrences that happened today, is an interesting spin on what these entities were talking about with me. So I'll try to make it make sense. Let me try to read it. And I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. I'm sorry if I'm screaming. Please turn your volume down. I don't want to mess with my volume on my side, because oftentimes it'll turn off and I can't get it to come back on. So again, I don't mean to scream at you, but I do have a big mouth. Outrage. Oh, I was going to say, I don't want to offend anybody. I hope I don't offend anybody. I'm just sharing my experiences, my perspective, and my communications with the unseen. And so it says the powers have and are commissioning inhumane acts against specific tribes of this world. We know that. It says, and has created an installation, INSULATION, between themselves and the retaliation of the persecuted tribes. Hopefully that makes sense. What am I saying? There are certain tribes that exist in this world that the powers that be are performing or commissioning inhumane acts. That's to say, and as an example, there have been orders for them to try to destroy the African American community or those enameled with ebony. And we know this. And then there are other people as well. It's even people that in certain nations it's about their gender. you know. And so I go on and read. And what I was saying is that these people have specifically assigned a tribe, namely Caucasian people or white people. Again, I'm not being offensive. I'm just sharing the message that I got when I was kicking it with these unseen forces, entities. And uh, they using Caucasian people, white people, however you like to label that particular tribe, as an installation between the people that they're doing wrong and performing humane acts on. Uh, how do I say that? In order not to be able to get to them, the 1 or 2 percenters, the powers that be. I'll try to clarify a little more. Anywho, I continue to read. It says, this installation is in the form of people. Just explained it. This tribe of people are mostly unaware of the function they play. In order for the persecuted tribe to demand retribution from the powers, they will be presumed to have insulted the installation and therefore have waged war on the installation. I go on. Maybe I should clarify what I'm saying. Okay. The installation, remember, are primarily Caucasian and white people. As far as the general populace can tell, it seems that the 1 and or 2 percenters, the powers that be, are predominantly what? White or Caucasian. That's the way it seems. And since the powers that be have commissioned these inhumane acts upon certain tribes, an example, and who I'm standing in intercession for, is what? Black people or people enameled with ebony. Yeah, you know, or me, my people. You know what I'm saying? When black people try to get retribution, you know, from them 1 to 2 percenters, the powers that be, we have to go through the people, the installation that they assign that position to be a wedge or a moat or what do you call it, a barricade between us and them, or black people and the powers that be. And so when black people, as an example, are ready to go get at the powers that be, it translates over into our reality that we are trying to wage war on white people, Caucasian people, the barricade. But we're not. We're trying to go after those that really hold the power. You know, we want retribution. We want answers. We want them to go to jail. We want them to stop performing witchcraft on us, the people that are enameled with ebony. We want it to stop. We want the witchcraft to stop. We want the commissions to perform inhumane acts on us to stop. Black people are just one tribe that is being abused here. So I'm one, so I speak up again in intercession for. And so I want to talk about the installation that has been put in place, which is a group of people, primarily Caucasian or white people, however you like to label that tribe, is the installation. So when black people are ready, riled up and want to act and go to move or to speak about it or to rally in order to move on these powers, because the powers and the installation seem like they're the same tribe, the installation tribe immediately, again, believes or is led to think that people of color are waging war on them or insulting them. INSULT. And I'm spelling the words installation and insult for a reason. Because when these entities were speaking to me about the subject matter, they made sure that I understood the significance between the word insult and installation. Hopefully you get it. They are, what is it? What is it? A prefix, or I forget it. Prefix, suffix of insult is a prefix, is it? Of the word installation. So it goes on, and it said privilege for race affiliation. What am I saying? I'm saying the installation tribe, the Caucasian tribe, the white people, however you like to label that tribe, is a tribe that receives privilege as a direct result of their affiliation or their similarity to the powers that be, the 1 or 2 percenters. And it says, is the privileges for race affiliation is the annuity or payment for duties performed. And the duty is what? Serving the installation, being the first line of defense between those that are afflicted or persecuted, moving on the powers that be. That's the duty that they perform. Many don't understand how I say, many what of the installation tribe, the Caucasians, the white people, however you like to label that tribe, they don't understand how they have what people deem or have labeled nowadays white privilege. People don't really understand that this is the reason why they have what has been deemed or coined white privilege, because they are the insulating force between those that are oppressed, abused, misused, manipulated, etc., but to the powers that be, the 1 or 2 percenters. And the privilege that they receive, talking about the privilege that this particular race or tribe receives, is an annuity payment for the duties they perform. The duty is to what? Installate or protect the powers or the 1 or 2 percenters. And so I want to clarify, how do they protect the 1 or 2 percenters or the powers that be from the retaliation of the oppressed or persecuted? It is soon as the persecuted rise up, they are immediately insulted. They feel like the war is waged on them, and it is not. That's what was shared with me. Hopefully that made sense. And then another part of that I was going to cut out, but I'm going to cover a little bit, is about black people. People enameled in ebony. People that have what? The ebony experience. And there are many black people in this world, or people of color. I'm primarily talking about people that are deemed African American, that share in a cultural experience that has existed here in the United States for hundreds of years. I'm talking primarily to those black people, specifically to those black people. The entities said this. It says, time to know yourself. Know thyself. Know thyself on an individual basis, but also on a tribal basis. Like, okay. They were saying that one of the obstacles that my tribe faces is that they're not acknowledging, we know, but we're not acknowledging that we are underneath or susceptible to the human condition, just like every other person that exists at this time or ever has. And then also, I got to go here, y'all. I got to go here since I'm on it. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, I'm about to turn some stuff on. And I have to say this. I had a hard time finding a spectrum of light. I don't even know if this one is free use, but I'm using it. So this is the best example I could offer of a spectrum of light. But you know, the spectrum of light moves from white to black on the total opposite end, and then it's the gradual changing of colors throughout the complete spectrum. So these entities were talking to me and saying, hey, each culture or race in this world, each tribe is um, a fraction, was that the word? A fraction of the spectrum. Usually a spectrum is shown in a line of gradual color change. This is the best I can do. So, and it says, you know, like, I'm going to use the blue. Your tribe, Nancy, has unique potential and tendencies. Those words that was given. Because you're in the color spectrum you are. That is to say, enameled with ebony. And it is also those tendencies that we know that we have, but we don't acknowledge. And it is, and so let me try to clarify what that means. It's saying, okay, you know, being under the human condition itself suggests that we are required to what? Eat in a way, drink and eat, urinate, defecate, breathe, inhale, exhale, those kind of things. We all are. And then there's some subtle differences between the tribes or the races. As a black person or a person enameled with ebony, we have our own unique tendencies, like, or what's the word? Oh, I can't think. I'll think of it. Relative to dealing with the demiurges, like our addiction level, or our ability, our capacity to be addicted is subtly different from any other tribe. Our ego and our personal relationship with the spirit of the ego is subtly different than any other tribe. And it's those things that we are aware of, but we're not acknowledging the power of these intricate spiritual details to help us get to know, truly know ourselves on an individual basis and a tribal basis. And the reason why these entities were speaking, I say these entities, remember it was just like this meeting. It's been like a lot of little bickering going on around me. I'm not bickering, but you know, chatter going on around me. And so the reason why, so I'm asking, I'm like, you know, what can my people do? Enough is enough. In the light of all this insanity taking place, it's taking place against everybody now. But I can't overlook the long history about my people. These people, my people, enameled in ebony. I can't overlook that. So I'm asking, and you know, like, what is it? Why can't we get together? Why do we have a hard time organizing? And this is what it says, something like this. It says, who is among you that has forbeared the urge, or something like that, the urge and the demiurge. That is to say, who has withstood the demiurges, because you can't withstand the urges of life and eating and sleeping, even though you can minimize it, but you still, if you want to stay alive, you're still going to eat and drink, you're still going to defecate, urinate, da-da-da-da. So you really can't withstand them. But the demiurges of the ego and addiction and obsession and needing to be loved, and those in instinctual kind of urges, demiurges, instinctual type of demiurges, once you are stimulated by it, who has withstood those? That's what it's saying. And so I kind of want to say the rest of that message for later. But it got me to thinking, out of all the people You know, I had to look at Dr. Martin Luther King and Gandhi and different people like that. And after the fact, I've heard, I don't know, I wasn't there, I didn't witness it, but I heard that these men were men, just men. But yet were doing like personal battle with themselves in order to what? Withstand these urges. And that gave them fortitude in their leadership roles to move forward. And so basically the entities were saying, you know, you're living during a time period and generation that there's no bars hold. And so people haven't been trained, you know, to, again, withstand these demiurges. Meaning we all out here doing whatever, turning up, living our best lives. So as a direct result, it's very difficult to establish a hierarchy within the African American community. Because it was saying, then it went on, the entities went on and said, who among you has, oh no, who among you are willing to take on the responsibility, because it showed the danger in the message. Which among you are willing to take on the responsibilities and duties of serving as, it's like serving as a president. It said building a black bureaucratic union. A black bureaucratic union. BBU. I said, well, entities, why do we need another name? Do we really need another name? And no, we don't. Because they have ADOS and stuff I've been introduced to. I don't know any other, Southern Leadership Conference thing. But it said that we need to build, first is dealing with yourself, understanding your potentials, and your tendencies, especially as a unique tribe in this color spectrum. And this color spectrum, this message that I got, let me show you. I want to finish. So when they say the whole thing, it asks who among you has forbeared the demiurges, meaning you constantly doing battle, you know, where you potentially weak at. You are a human or a man, so you liable to fall, but you got to get back up. You got to stay with integrity. That's what that was about. And then it was about, okay, who among you is willing to put your life on the line and play the various positions within the hierarchy of the black bureaucratic union. Who among you? Who is also capable, not just willing, but capable. I mean, you're expert in the area relative to the position or the seat you'll take in that black bureaucratic union. You know, and so I'm going to stop right there because I don't want to get lost in that. I just kind of want to turn this off and now start with the thing. So I went there all because you brought that up, so I was meant to say it. So okay, now let me tell you some stuff. It's TMIs and stuff, and cussing and fussing, and me partaking in my vices and things like that. I'm not trying to mislead nobody. Y'all know I'm not. I just do what I do. I am who I am, and it's been hard being me. It's been hard being me. When I was on that stripper pole, it was okay. It was all right. I was loved. But once I sat in that church pew, it was hard being me. It was hard being me. Okay, let's see. At this time, let me share something that happened today. I just went to the store, the gas station, maybe about an hour or so ago. And when I was walking up, and when I was in the gas station, I'm looking in the window, you know, where the clerk is at, and I see these glass, like, figurine. It's the glass pipe. A glass pipe. Took me way back. It, like, sucked me back in time. In 1982, I was old enough to, you know, kind of roam the neighborhood with my best friend. And she and I used to go to a little gas station not too far away from our home. And one day, as we often did, we We walked the same path we walked, thought we was doing something. And so we come upon the gas station. This is a whole nother gas station. This is back in the day when I was about 12. And so when we walking past the gas station, the back of the gas station is a big window. In the window were these beautiful glass blown pipes. Or to me, they were just figurines. I didn't know what they were. Another thing that was so amazing to me, it was these clips with the leather string on them and these beautiful feathers. I'm like, ooh. Me and her used to stand at the back of the gas station window, like, I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna get that glass blown figurine. That one, and I'm getting that feather. It took some years before I knew what I was looking at. So, like I said, that was 1982. By 1985, crack had hit the scene, and it was just, I mean, just tsunami all through the community. Lives were being devastated. By that time, I knew that those glass figurines was the glass crack pipe. Okay. And those beautiful feathers on that string were weed clips. Okay. So when I go to the gas station today and I walk in, y'all, and once again, they reappear. I haven't seen them in years. I mean, I've seen them every now and then, but I had to go into a smoke shop. Y'all know I smoke cigarettes. So I go into a smoke shop, and they have something similar to it, but not quite the same. Why are they back in the gas station? And I'm going back tomorrow asking what the hell is they doing with it. Whew. The reason why I'm sharing that, why do I feel compelled to share that? Because that's how my life worked. When I was 12 years old, I didn't know that's how life communicated with me. When me and my best friend stood at the back of that gas station and made our selections about what we were going to purchase relative to them glass pipes and them weed clips, I didn't know that was the message being delivered to me, that soon and very soon my community would be swarmed with sickness and addiction. I didn't know that then. But now I know, because I understand how life and energies communicate with me. So I know very well when I saw those glass pipes today, beautiful blown glass pipes today, that our .gov, the powers that be, about to run something new through the inner city. Beware. Warn your children, and you keep your eye open, because you know they've also popularized and legalized all of these marijuana shops or cannabis shops. So you know people like to lace things and do things to make them more exciting and exotic. Watch yourself. I know how spirit talked to me now. So, okay. Let's see. It's been hard being me. That's the thing for this one. All right, now at this time, I want to take y'all to the Bible once again. You know, when I take you to the Bible and I read scriptures, I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm seeing where the scriptures that held me for so long, where religion held me for so long, fits now, because it fits now. It didn't fit then, but it fits now. And so I've run into another scripture, well, another experience. Remember, the information that I'm going to share with you today here in this TMI, I can't really prove it to you, because this messages come from the communications I've had with these unseen entities. It was a whole chitter-chatter meeting taking place. Did I ask for the meeting? No. They just came and been chitter-chattering and engaging me. And so I engaged them because I had questions and concerns. Why not? And so after I received the information, it made me think of a Bible verse. And so I'm about to go to that Bible verse and read it to you. Read it to you. And it's not just a verse tonight I'm going to be reading. You know I have a reading deficiency, so bear with me. If I don't know how to pronounce the word, I'll spell the word, or I'll try to make up a word to fit in this place. And so what I'm going to read is probably, oh, it don't even show it right here. And I pulled it up. It don't even go as far. Let me see. Why doesn't, oh, it is. Oh, it is. Okay. What I'm about to read is from the King James Version, or the New King James Version. I'm about to read the book of Mark, chapter 5, verses 1 through 13. Yes, it's somewhat of a long read. Short sentences, but in comparison to what I usually do, it is kind of a long read. Just ride the wave with me, if you will. I'm going somewhere with this. So here I am reading. Then they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. And when he had come out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs of a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwellings among the tombs, and no one could bind him, not even with chains, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and the chains had been pulled apart by him, and the shackles broken in pieces. Neither could anyone tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying out and cutting himself with stones. He practiced the behavior of mutilation. Okay. It says, when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and he worshipped him. And he cried out with a loud voice and said, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I implore you by God that you do not torment me." For he said to him, "Come out of that man, unclean spirit." Then he asked him, "What is your name?" And the man answered, saying, "My name is Legions, for we are many." Also he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. Now a large herd of swine was feeding there near the mountains. So all the demons begged who? Jesus, saying, "Send us into the swine that we may enter them." And at once Jesus gave them permission. Then the unclean spirits went out and entered the swine. There were about 2,000. And the herd ran violently down the steep place into the sea and drowned in the sea. Okay, that was it. That wasn't too bad. Hopefully y'all still with me. And it's a reason that I feel compelled to read that chapter and those verses. And hopefully I can make it make sense in just a short while. We'll see. Okay. Let's see. Title, subtitle, The Spectrum and the Mirrored Room. The spectrum and the mirrored room. First, I'm going to cover the spectrum. What do I have written here? The spectrum. God's awareness of ever-changing worldly matters is perceived through the eyes of 7.8 plus billion people that exist during this point in time in the history of humanity. What am I saying? I'll try to make it make sense. I'm saying, hey, every single person that exists at this time period is, oh my, stuff messing up. Hopefully I'm still here. I don't know if I'm not or not. It just glitched out. So, we are all, well, God is viewing this subject matter or object, which is existence, through each of our eyes, from each of our perspectives. He has a 360 degree perspective of what is occurring here in this world. He has a 3D perspective of what is occurring in this world. It says this perspective seems to be necessary, a necessary facet in the intricate design of this what? Reality and self-contained ecosystem as it initiates the 3D dimensional experience. That is to say, creates the fullness of our physical reality. I'll try to explain. I believe that our 3D reality is able to exist and does exist because of God's vision. Let me see how I can say this. I am God, and each of you, 7.8 plus 5 billion people, are my eyes. I am seeing the world through each of your eyes. Each of your eyes are coming or viewing from a different perspective. And that is what creates the 3D reality, or the fullness of our reality or world. Okay. Now, at this time, I'm still going somewhere with this. If you know me, you know I'm going somewhere with this. Please be patient and do what, y'all? Ride the wave with me in this new year of 2021. We made it. Okay. Let me talk about... Oh. Okay. I'm not supposed... That's the part I was going to cut out. So, there is... I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. It's deep. These entities ain't no joke. If you can just sit here. If you can just sit here. I want to talk about my experience. Remember, I said I'm going to offer a lot of TMI doing this video. If you follow me, you know that I've gone to college. One of the universities I attended was University of Michigan. I attended the University of Michigan in Dearborn, in Michigan. Okay. One of the classes I took was sketching. Sketching. Oh, no. That ain't when it happened. That ain't when it happened. I'm sorry. This had to be, I also went to Michigan State University in East Lansing. And so this is when I was at Michigan State University. And I went to Michigan State University twice. I'm telling y'all, TMI, I went twice. I went fresh out of high school in 1988. And then I went later after I had my first 3 children. So that had to be 1998 or something like that when I returned. It was during the time period of... Was it the first time or the second time? Second time. One of them two. Second time. I don't know. I'm getting old, y'all. Getting old. OB problems with my memory. So anyway, I have this sketch class, or this art class, in which we're doing sketching. And so, surprise, surprise, when we go to class one day, without warning, we have a nude model. That's something you see on TV. But does it really happen to you? Yes, it really happened to me. It was a nude model. And so, first I was a little shy, and I say, no, I'm going to experience this. And so, in the art class, I'm going to say it was maybe about 20 people. And about 20 people. And so, the nude model comes in. It's a platform in the middle of the room, and a chair, a little stool. And the model comes, take their robe off, their nude, they hang it up, and they get a pose. The teacher, the instructor, the professor say, you know, strike you a comfortable pose, because you're going to be sitting there a few hours. And so after the model gets up there and gets positioned, the teacher tells us, take us a seat anywhere we want to sit, where a seat is open. And so all the chairs are around this platform in the middle of the, or stage in the middle of the classroom. So all 20 students take a seat, scattered all the way around the model. And so we have, I don't know, 3 hours to sketch. And so from my perspective, this is how life teaches. This is how life teaches. Talking about perspectives. So everybody take their 3 hours to sketch this nude model. And so after we sketched the nude model, some time was saved at the end of the class where we all set up our sketches like along the wall, all the way down, all the way around. 20 professional sketches. And so we're all, as a class, walking and experiencing each other's sketches together one by one. You know, and what I realized, it was amazing. Life teaches, life does teach, is that each one of us, each of the 20 students that were present in the class when we did that sketch, saw a different perspective of the same subject matter or object, the model, the nude model. Okay. When I looked at my sketch, the perspective I had of her rendered to me an arm, like 3/4 of a profile, a nipple sticking right past the forearm. It showed the arch of a foot in one foot and only the toes in the other. And then when I walked to the person that was sitting next to me, it was like how they make films. Make a film or animated film is flick. It would flick. Flicked. It flipped. Each person it flicked. So the person that was sitting next to me, they had a little, maybe less of her face, you know, her profile. More of her breasts might have been showing. Her shoulder, her arm may appear to have been sitting back. More thigh, inner thigh was being showing. You know, more of the foot, the arch, the depth of it was showing. Next person, it was more, it was full, you know, all the way till we got to the full breast. And if you could see her pubic hair and but you couldn't see anything in her back, of her back or anything like that. You see her full face in the next students, and it went on and on and on till you was on from the left side of her body to the right side of her body, and then it started on the back. Once on the back, you couldn't see any of her face, anything, but you could see her beautiful flowing hair and all the curves and waves, the Bohemian waves, and her waist and the arch of her back and the you know, the dimple that runs down the middle of the back. Other people caught her rib cage. And what I understood by the time we had walked the whole length of the wall is that we had experienced a 3D perspective of her. That one subject matter, that one model, that nude model from all of our paintings. I mean, all of our sketches. Once they were put together, it would be her. Hopefully that makes sense. And I share that example, offer that TMI, because that is exactly how God perceives the world and therefore creates our 3D reality. Life teaches. I'm still going somewhere with this, y'all. I'm telling you, these entities ain't no joke. They ain't no joke. Okay. I did the art studio. Making sure, y'all. And I'm trying to talk fast because I know my videos be so long. So long. Oh, the spectrum and the mirrored room. And so I talked about the spectrum. Now I want to talk about the mirrored room. The mirrored room. The mirrored room, here is another TMI. In the course of my life, I had this experience of the mirrored room. Associate of mine some years ago, they are what do you call it? Contractor. They build homes and garages from the ground up. I don't know what they, a contractor, construction, or like an architect or something. Anywho, so he decides to build his own home. He builds it from the ground up, every brick by brick, and does the interior design and everything. So one day I go over his home, and I have to use the restroom because I've been over there an extended amount of time. And so, you know, going up to the bathroom. And so I go into the bathroom, and when I open the door to the bathroom, I'm like, well, which door is it? He tells me, I open the door, it's like, it's all of these mirrors everywhere. It's like, I think they were like the 12 by 12 mirrors, if I remember. But the bathroom was significantly large because in the middle of it, it had a jacuzzi in the floor. So it was a large bathroom. It had the shower on, you know, the side, the jacuzzi in the middle of the floor, you know, the toilet, the face bowl, all those kind of things. You know, the standard fixtures or furnishings in a bathroom. But it's all, the whole thing, as I stepped in, the whole thing was mirrored. I turned around and looked, and, you know, and I could hear him and his lady friend, my best friend, laughing. I don't know why they laughing, but I'm like, wow, this, you know, nice. I have been in the house, but never to the bathroom. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. It's freaky. It's significant. These entities ain't joking. They be teaching. They be telling the truth. And life be teaching. But I didn't know that I was learning a lesson then. And that had to be in like 1994, 95. This is 2021. So how many years has that been? Life was teaching me then. What was revealed has been brought back to me now by these entities that was chitter-chattering with me. You know? So I'm standing there like, wow, this mother sucker is off the chain bad. He really, you know, doing it. It wasn't until I walked in the bathroom and closed the door that the whole room transformed. Woo! What an experience. So how can I say this? Let me try to explain. This bathroom was abnormally large, probably in comparison to a standard home. Remember, he built it from the ground up. And it had all the basic furnishings that come in a bathroom, is expected to be in a bathroom. Plus, it had the jacuzzi in the middle of the floor. When I open the door, it's all mirrored. It wasn't, again, until I walked all the way into the bathroom, turned around, because see, what stopped the illusion from happening before I closed the door was that it was that which was on the outside of the door, which was the hallway and the bedroom. It was all other colors. It was other colors. It was no mirrors. It was, you know, the doors or whatever else was out there in the hallway. So it broke up the energy that that room held. It broke it up. It broke the circuit. But when I closed that door, immediately, I went to Wikipedia because I didn't even know it was a thing. It's a real thing. I didn't know it. And so I have, what was the term? It was, I'm going to read what I have here to help me try to organize what I'm going to talk about. I said the mirrored room, talk about his bathroom, how color played a part. Many of the colors were natural, nude. And I talked about the bare basics in the bathroom, the jacuzzi in the middle of the floor. It says how the number of furnishings complicated the distortion. Oh, that's the term I was looking for, distortion. When I closed that door, immediately, when I closed that circuit, closing that door, and the door was glassed, mirrored as well, I was immediately distorted. A distortion, or, gosh, it's another word I was going to use. It's in here somewhere, but distortion was one of them. And it's because that circuit was complete. It says, talk about my experience, the physical and perceptual responses and emotional responses. Okay, so I'm going to just try to go ahead. Tell the story the way I experienced it. I hope I don't get sick. I still get sick at the thought of it. So when I close this door, the circuit is closed. Now I'm within a room that has mirrors everywhere, even along the side of the jacuzzi. And anywhere there weren't mirrors, it was soft, light, natural colors like beige and white. So it was very monotone. And then in the bathroom, as mentioned, it was the jacuzzi, the face bowl, the toilet, the shower, which was over in the side, and that as well was encased in mirror. These various items, no, I don't want to go there yet, because it was just being in a room full of mirrors. Dang. The reason why I'm having a problem with it, because I think I was going to pull Google up and use Google's, not Google, Wikipedia's description of this thing that's a real thing. But I don't want to go through that. That's what I want to do, because it said it perfectly. The experience a person has. So the first time I ever experienced it, I didn't know it was a thing. I go in there, close the door, and all of a sudden, what's the word? Kind of thrown off. I'm like dizzy, immediately dizzy. Discombobulated. That's the word. Discombobulated. I'm like, woof. Like my head started spinning immediately. My mind couldn't make sense of what was frontwards or backwards or side to side. Now, mind you, I just walked in the bathroom, closed the door, so I know I'm facing the door. I can no longer see the door. The door has vanished. I can't even see the knob to turn the door. I am, what's the word I just used, y'all? I'm just, my head spinning like a mother sucker. I'm disoriented. Another word that I need. I'm totally disoriented. And so I'm like, I immediately go into a panic attack because my mind can't make sense of what I'm experiencing. First time in this bathroom. And so I want to reach out to get the knob to just open the door back up, but I can't find a knob, and I'm trying to feel for the knob, and I can't feel the knob. It's like I dropped into, what was that thing called, that a program called the Twilight Zone. Dropped to a Twilight Zone of prism or a prism, or I don't know what they call it. It was horrible. And so I'm like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. But now I'm so shocked, discombobulated, nervous. I got to go to the bathroom. I know when I came in, I can't find a door. I can't find a knob, even though I'm standing right there, and where I should be able to reach my hand out and turn the knob and open it back up. But I can't. I have to go to the bathroom. And so I'm like, I'm screaming now. And him and my girlfriend down there cracking up. I'm like, I'm about to piss on your floor. Excuse my vulgarity. About to piss on your floor. They said, okay, what you doing? I said, I ain't moved. I'm still standing. I should be able to get out this door, and I can't. But right now, I got to go to the bathroom. And so he told me how many times to walk backwards and to reach down and find the toilet. So I'm on this toilet. I find a toilet. I urinate. I'm panicking. I'm like tripping. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm looking around this room, and again, I'm disoriented, discombobulated, my head spinning. I got a headache. I feel like I'm about to vomit because my mind can't make sense of what experience I'm having. It came on so suddenly. As soon as I closed that door, it happened. It was like crazy. So when I get through using the bathroom, you know, I knew the sink was right there, so I reach over, I grab the sink, I wash my hands. All I could do is wipe my hands on myself at that time, and so I'm like panicking. They still down there cracking up. They should have dropped dead. They laughed so hard at me. And so I'm like, okay, calm down, Nancy, calm down. I'm freaking out. And now that I've moved away from the bathroom door, I'm over near the toilet in the sink area. I'm really lost. I'm lost in this because when I looked in the mirrors, it was like tunnels. It was an illusion. It was tunnels and tunnels and tunnels. I couldn't tell which image was me in the mirror because I was, a reflection of me was straight forward, sideways. You know, so if I'm looking this way, I'm seeing my face. But as soon as I turn this way, I'm seeing my face. So what is front? What is back? So I'm so disoriented. I don't know what. The shower got mirrors on it. The jacuzzi got mirrors on it. Everything is monotone. You know, like natural beige colors and white and stuff. I think it was marble or something here. Oh, baby. So I'm sick. And I'm tripping. And so and when I say y'all, my heart was like, I was like, okay, I got to get out of here. I'm about to pass out. Something told me to stop. Life teaches. It says stop. It says close your eyes. Close your eyes. You know, so I closed my eyes. Oh, wait a minute. I got to talk about the fixings in the furnishings in the bathroom. So it wasn't just that the mirrors were disorienting, causing this disorientation in me. Because again, I couldn't tell what was what because every single thing in the bathroom, including myself, was being reflected over and over and over and over again to the point it disoriented me. But then it was the furnishings themselves. Remember, in the bathroom, the furnishings that were made of this marble or whatever it was also being reflected in the glass over and over and over and over again. So it was something like, it was like this, but completely like being in, like imagine being inside of a diamond for the first time, inside of a diamond, and it's all of these different fractals or fragments everywhere, disorienting. So my perspective, or it's like I had no perspective. It's like I didn't even matter. How do I describe it? My brain, I couldn't perceive or understand what I was perceiving. And again, the fractals or the fragments, the reflection was made worse by the fragmentation of those other items in the room. Meaning they, rather than me seeing big images, those furnishings cut into the mirror. So it was breaking it down even smaller. So you end up seeing a lot of little small pieces of stuff. And so it was everywhere. Like being in, best I can describe is like being in the middle of a diamond or a crystal. That's why I put this crystal hanging down here at the bottom. I'm going somewhere with this like teaches. I didn't know then I was learning a lesson that will reappear now in this discussion I was having with these entities. So anyway, I'm panicking, I'm freaking out, I'm hyperventilating, my heart beating fast. I can hear them fools down there laughing and stuff. And I was like, some said, it always told me, peace, be still. I know I done said that a few times in early time. Peace, be still. Be still, Nancy. I was like, okay, close your eyes. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay. Another scenario that I learned with meditation is capable of doing. And then it started ministering to me or speaking to me or instructing me. What? An unseen entity. Which one? I don't know. It didn't announce itself. It just came in at the right time. It says, now, I need you to calm down. And this is an example of what you see in Hollywood when they have, what was it? The Matrix. When the one was a Neo. When Smith or somebody shot at him and he was able to slow time up. And when the bullet come past, lean. This is when, what's the name of that? The Karate Kid. And I can't remember the karate teacher name. Tell Daniel's son, whatever. You know, they always tell you close your eyes. Even in Doctor Strange, the lady there tells him, the ball lady tells him close your eyes. Certain things that you have to feel. You have to feel your environment. You have to hear your environment. You have to have like a visual of your environment without looking at it. In order to control the environment. And so that's what I was instructed to do. I didn't even know. Again, that had to be what else? Had to be. Was that 90? Yeah, it was 94. I can't remember. That was the. I lose track too many years. So I was obedient, and I just stopped where I was, and I closed my eyes. Breathed a few times. I kept my eyes closed, and I got oriented. I was being disoriented, discombobulated by all the various contrasting reflections taking place all over the place. I was in the middle of this like diamond. So I closed my eyes, breathed, calmed myself down so I could think. And of course, I followed the instructions of that which I couldn't see. And it told me, listen. It told me to, what I was listening for was like, it wasn't, I don't remember, it wasn't no windows in there, but no window. But listen, number one, them fools was down there laughing. That's when I really could focus on them fools laughing. Listen. And what I was able to hear, I could start like hearing wind. We are human. We are faulty. We make mistakes. Even with masterful architectural skills, there's always a gap. And in those gaps, the air does flow. So I could hear the air in the different places that it was, with the greatest gap being what? At that door. Okay. Then I was instructed to think about when I first opened the bathroom door and look at the, dimensions of that room I entered. The mirrored room, the bathroom, the dimensions. What did it look like? As well as to consider how many times I had to walk back to get to the bathroom. And from there, without opening my eyes, I was able to in my mind, see that room without any mirrors, just the room. I could hear where the toilet was, the sink was, the door was due to the air, and I knew what they were being in relationship to that bathroom downstairs, cracking the fuck up, excuse my language. And I was able to come up out that bathroom. And they asked, they had no intentions of letting me out that bathroom at any time soon. How the heck you get out of there? I was so pissed off. I said, I ain't gonna talk to y'all. But I'm talking about that for a reason. Because I'm talking about how we perceive things. Our perception of things. Our perspective of things. Truly, in that room, that mirrored room, I don't feel like I had a perspective at all. I was just in it. I was just in it. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm trapped. Anywho, going further. So, I want to refer you to a video that I did some years ago, several years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And it's called The Devil's Playground. The Devil's Playground. And in that, I talk about the various tools or, what do you call it on the playground? Playscapes on the Devil's Playground. And two of them are perception and receive. There are quite a few of the devil's toys that I'll be talking about in this live stream. So feel free. I will, after I finish with this live and uploaded it and did all that, I will put a card that attaches the video that I'm talking about, because it was very interesting research and realization. It was called The Devil's Playground. Anywho, what was I talking about here? Oh, I talked about the glass fractured, cracked, severed, impaired, damaged, or shattered. Okay, I'll talk about that a little bit later. And it leads to sensory. What was I experiencing? Sensory overload. I was experiencing sensory overload. Sensory overload is not the terminology that is used in science. It's another term that I had a problem pronouncing, but I may come past it in my notes. We're going to see how long I've been on here. Hour 17 minutes. I'm going to try to move a little faster, y'all. Thank you, whomever is here, for coming here to connect. Hi, Warrior Light. How are you this evening? I am fine. I'm just doing my first Aquarius rant of this new year. We made it 2021. I am here. And so I was just sharing. So I'm actually going somewhere with this. Again, if you follow me, you know I'm taking you somewhere with this information that I'm sharing, including the TMI, everything. I'm going somewhere with this. And what I'm doing is sharing the message that the unseen entities have shared with me since 2021 has begun. Okay, let's see. Well, I have here in my notes, you know, if I wrote it, I'm going to read it. The end result of my experience in that mirrored bathroom was I could not see. That was another thing. I could not see. I was blinded again. It was just overwhelming sensory overload. I couldn't see. And because I couldn't see, I couldn't comprehend. I ended up with a headache, cloudiness of mind. I couldn't think. I was confused. I was suffering panic attacks, anxiety, the inability to perceive even depth. Like if I reached my arm out, I couldn't perceive the depth because it was too many reflections of my movements. So that movement just made it worse. I couldn't perceive space, even time, because I couldn't think. And again, if it wasn't for that benevolent energy coming to me and saying, peace, be still, Nancy, be still, be quiet, and close your eyes, and helping me calm down, I'll probably still be in that bathroom today, some 20 years later. You say I'm fabulous. I'm glad you are. I am so glad that we are okay today. At least today we okay. Okay, so I went to Wikipedia next, and I looked up the description that Wikipedia offers for this term, perception. Remember, perception is one of the toys on the Devil's Playground. Perception is organization, identification, and interpretation of sensory information. in order to represent and understand the presented information in an environment. What does that mean? To say, hey, if you walk into a normal bathroom like every other normal person, you understand what you are experiencing. You know you're going to the bathroom. You know what to expect. A tub, a face bowl, a toilet, some towel racks, maybe a shower. You know what to expect. The medicine cabinet. Your mind can make sense of it. You know, and, and, and because what you are experiencing represents what you expect, it's you are able to comprehend what you're perceiving. Back to my story of the mirrored bathroom, I couldn't comprehend or understand anything, not even time and space. I couldn't think, I couldn't see. Movement made it worse. Okay, going on. It says read aloud. Oh, I'm supposed to read aloud. This from Wikipedia continues. It's the mirror room experience is called GANZFELD. What's this? Gans failed effect. It's a real thing. It was a real thing. I didn't know about it. It says or perceptual deprivation. Or it's called perceptual deprivation. I don't know how that's depriving my senses. I call it sensory overload. They call it perceptual deprivation. Is a phenomenon of perception caused by exposure to an unstructured. The bathroom was completely unstructured. Once I closed that door, closed the circuit, the reality or the space within there was unorganized because it was reflections or we call reflections everywhere. And so it says that the phenomena perception caused by exposure to an unstructured, ununified stimulation field. The stimulation field in the case relative to my story of the mirrored bathroom was the bathroom. That was the field. Crazy people. Anyway, the Gans field effect can lead to experiencing altered states of consciousness. That's the part. I'm happy I wrote it here because that's what it was about. When I say y'all soon, I can't even express it. I can say it to you, but I can't express it. I can't express it. Soon as I closed that bathroom door, I entered into a, how they say it, an altered state of consciousness. Bug me out. Bug me out. Altered state of consciousness. Hold that in the forefront of your mind. What am I talking about? I'm talking about perspectives. From the position in which we see things. I started this video talking about those that are experiencing the ebony experience. That is to say, those enameled with ebony are experiencing this physical experience from a particular perspective. That our tribe, my tribe, is experiencing this experience from a very particular perspective, as is every other tribe experiencing this reality from a different perspective. The next thing I'm talking about is perception. And I've defined perception or described it as described by Wikipedia. And I've also talked about this Gans field effect that I coined sensory overload. That's what it is. Sensory overload will lead a person to an altered state of consciousness. I'm going somewhere with this. It says, my escape from the mirrored room is to close my eyes. Okay, went within. Important to go within, y'all. I'm on my way. Trying to go faster. Ooh. Let's see. The effects were immediate. Talked about that. As soon as the closed door, talked about that. The first. Okay, calm down. Okay. And the opposite experience. Okay. Now I want to talk at this time about an opposite experience I had. This opposite experience was voluntary. A couple of years ago, my neighbor came to me and started talking to me about something called a deprivation tank. And I was like, a deprivation tank? And he's explaining it to me. I was like, okay. He said, well, I want to gift it to you. I got these certificates. for whatever reason, whatever was taking place, he didn't go, him and his wife didn't go, and I didn't go either. But it kept staying on my mind. It kept staying on my mind. I said, I'm going to try this deprivation tank. I want to know what it is. I want to know what it is. And so I called my bro one day, my brother, biological brother, said, hey, bro, I said, I want to go experience a deprivation tank. And I'm inviting you to go with me to have this experience. Are you willing? He said, yeah. I said, well, with day off work, you know, we set it up and we go. And we have our deprivation tank experiences. Him in one room, I'm in the other. Let me talk about this experience. Well, you go into the spa. Pay your money, of course. You can get a flotation pillow for the back of your head. You go in, you go in your private suite. You strip down naked. You take a shower, wash your hair. You do everything. And the lights are all turned off after that time. The lights are on a timer, so they go off after a certain time. And you get into this deprivation tank, which is a whole, like a tub or a jacuzzi with a top dome on it, so you're closed completely in. The tub is full of hot, well, not hot, but warm water. Like, not what is our temperature? 98.9 degrees, whatever. It's filled with water up to that level, that temperature, and it's full of Epsom salt. I think it is Epsom salt. I'm talking about like 50 pounds of Epsom salt in the tub or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And so the Epsom salt makes a person be, I think the term is buoyant, meaning you don't go down. As long as you relax, you're on top of the water. The session lasted, I do believe, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was. And so what you do, you get in the tank, you close the tank. Now you do have an option. You can either have no sound, they had like gradual light changes of the primary colors. I think primary colors are red, yellow, and green or something like that. And so it has this gradual change, you know, of lights or whatever if you want to. It was a couple of buttons to push on the side and plus an emergency button if you had any, you know, issues. And so I get in the deprivation tank. I lay back. First I start with the lights, you know, the gradual lights, and I have that experience so I can see, you know, what this tank is about. I get comfortable in it. And after that, I turn the lights out. And so the deprivation tank is depriving your senses of any stimulation. That's to say, you don't hear anything for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was. You don't hear anything. You can't see anything. You don't feel anything. Remember, the water that's surrounding you is your same temperature, so you're just kind of floating there. You don't taste anything. You don't do anything. Just there. Just there with you and your mind. I loved the experience. I loved the experience. I loved the experience. Just there with me and my mind. What I challenged myself to do at that time period is not to have the monkey mind, to constantly think about stuff, about things, and jump from here to there on subject matters in my mind. I just wanted my mind clear. So I designated a certain part of my experience or session to being able to think, to contemplate, to process, to receive any messages that, you know, any entity or universe wanted me to know. And then I also gave myself a scheduled out time for me to not think of anything. Anytime something tried to come in my mind, I pushed it out. I found that was a big challenge. Pushed it out. Anyway, I shared that because that was the opposite effect. I've had a sensory overload experience, and I had the sensory deprivation experience. I would recommend it, with the exception, I'm sure how many people get in that tub becomes a thing. Okay. Anywho, I wrote some notes on about the sensory deprivation tank. It says, talk about the opposite experience, which I just did, and my visit to the sensory deprivation tank, which I just talked about. And I talked about the senses of smell, touch, taste, feel, and seeing, in which there was an absence of stimulus for any of those senses. So you're just in the dark. You're in a void. You know, you're with your mind. And then it says, note, in Wikipedia, it states that A person that is exposed, talking about the deprivation of your senses, those exposed to that type of atmosphere or environment for an extended amount of time or forced sensory deprivation can result in extreme anxiety. There were moments that I did have to bring myself down because I felt myself getting anxious. And it was more about just being there, just being, and not moving or doing something that was leading to the anxiety. Anywho, it can lead to hallucinations, bizarre thoughts, temporary senselessness, meaning like after you get out, you still feel like buoyant, that you're not in connection with something, or you might not be able to hear for a minute, you know, just temporary. And even depression. I am going somewhere with this. I'm just building, y'all. You know what I do. Thank you for coming here to King Angels Fly Tarot and allowing me to perform my first Aquarius rant of the year 2021. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, do what? Subscribe. All right. Let's see. Now, at this time, what happened here? I'm trying to think of the chitter chatter of the conversation. I ended up being led to research this term, crystalline. What was going on? Why did I get to crystalline? Crystalline. I assume that some of you have heard of the crystalline body or the crystal body. People talk about the light body that people are expected to transform once they ascend after the event, you know. And so I was led there. I gotta remember, there was so much, y'all. I'm trying to go fast because this is a lot of information that we went over. When I say we, me and these unseen entities went over. I'm trying to see. Oh, the crystalline. I can't remember right now exactly what conversation took place amongst between me and them, but it led me to the crystalline. And the reason why it led me to the crystalline is from, I can't remember wholeheartedly right now what the conversation was, but it was in relationship to what I've shared, talking about the perspective of each of us, what we're experiencing as a fragment of God. You know, it was a direct result getting to the crystalline crystals in the crystalline body because of this what they call it, the sensory overload experience. I'm talking about perception, and then also where I wasn't per se perceiving any outside stimuli during the deprivation tank experience. So I end up getting to in the conversation where it led me literally to crystals and crystalline. How do I say this? So I'm on Wikipedia and I'm reading about crystals, and the term crystalline come up. I can tell you that, and I was like, hot dang. I got to somehow remember what the conversation was about between me and those unseen entities to make it make sense about how they led me to see where people get this subject matter that is trending, you know, trended subject matter of transitioning into crystalline forms. Okay. I'm going to just read, and I might have to come back to it because I need to go somewhere else, I do feel. Anyway, I read about the crystalline, and the crystalline solid are atoms, molecules, ions are arranged in a highly organized microscopic structure. Then it was another term, still dealing with crystals. I'll make it make sense later if I can. Are polycrystallines. And it says most inorganic solids are not crystals, but polycrystals. Many microscopic crystals fused together in a single solid. And then there are amorphous solids. And they are the atoms have no periodic structure, whatsoever, such as glass, wax, and many plastics. Let's see. I'm trying to remember still, y'all. So it says versus. This is still from Wikipedia, and it dealt with crystals, defects, impurities, and twinning. It says in semiconductors, all of these are just notes. I'm just sharing until I can remember what we were talking about. In semiconductors, a special type of impurity called dopant drastically changes the crystal's electrical properties. Semiconductor devices, such as transistors, are made possible largely by putting different semiconductor dopants into different places in specific locations. Dopant is a doping agency. Doping is a doping agency. I'm going to continue. Doping agent is a trace of impurity element. This is introduced into chemical material to alter its original electrical and optical properties. The amount of dopant necessary to cause changes is typically very low. When doped into crystalline substances, the dopants atoms get incorporated into crystal lattice. I've summarized here crystalline integration circuits. I go on with my writing, and I have written, we, me and you, and most of the people that create humanity are crystalline beings. Interdependent circuit of electrical energy. Have note semiconductor physics depletion region. Okay, let me see if I can remember what that was about. Because that got a little advanced for me, and I had to say, hey, hold on, y'all. You know, I'm not that advanced. So, okay. What was this part of the conversation about? Let me see if I can articulate it. Everything that I've talked about in this live stream thus far and what I will talk about goes together. I try to share as much information to help you be able to see. So if it ever like happens in your life, you can recognize it. And if it doesn't happen, you know, you have some insight into what does occur for some, namely me. And during the conversation that I had the other night with these unseen entities, through everything again that I've been sharing in this live stream and wheel, it led to the realization that human beings are crystalline beings. The complication I'm having right here, right now, is that once I discovered, I'd heard it, but I didn't know it for myself. Once I had discovered that we were crystalline beings, and we do have crystalline elements within ourselves' bodies, I also was learning at the same time that there are doping agents. There are agents. That's something that I've heard. You know, that has trend, especially in social media. Here, even here on YouTube. And there are agents out here. And what they call them, trolls. I heard it, but I didn't know it. But now I know from my own research. There are agents. How do I say this? Going back, trying to explain the crystalline body and how I was led to understand it. I don't think I'm able to do this one successfully, articulate successfully. Anywho, I don't know how to do this. I'll just say it like this because I don't know how to show it. We are crystalline bodies. I have revealed that through it was been revealed to me through, again, the conversation I've had with these unseen beings and my research that accompanies the discussions that I have, and namely that discussion accompanies it and follows after it. The discussion and the physical research that I do led me to crystals. When I was reading, the entities were explaining to me what I was reading. And what it was saying is that the human being, humanity is a circuit board. We are like circuit boards, which I knew from other experience I've had. We're circuit boards. And we hold and transmit energy amongst the 7.8 plus billion people of us, give or take a few that are not human. Okay. I have no idea how to articulate this. Complication. That there are real crystals, and we buy real crystals, and we glamorize crystals, and we use them for healing. We use them for meditation. Those are the crystals that we know. But our chemical makeup, some compounds within us, are crystalline. It's just like a person gets what they call it gallstones, or even like maybe cancer. These are mineral crystallizations happening in the body. We are crystalline beings. That's just an example. Trying to explain. So let me talk about the powers, the 1 or 2 percenters that persecute the people. Certain tribes at one time, but now they just trying to persecute everybody. Okay, they know. Remember, their intelligence is extensive. It's broad. They know that humanity, the people that create humanity, are crystalline beings. They know that we hold energy and we transfer energy from one to another. We are overall electrical circuit. How do you say? We are electrical circuit. So if that's the case, how do I say that? We are electrical circuits. Life. What fuels life? This is one of the things that was covered. What fuels life? It is that circuit, that electrical circuit, that surge that is transmitted between living beings at any given time, that creates the energy of life. I don't know how to say it. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. And I ain't going to get caught up here. But I got to say this because it goes into something. And so since the powers that be know that in real life, you know, we can't see, we see everything. The basic populace sees everything very bland or generic or basic or superficial. We underestimate life. We don't look at how advanced life is and its experiences. The powers that are the 1 or 2 percenters know that this is more advanced, that it is scientific. They know that we are crystalline bodies, and they know that we are integrated. All tribes, all people, we are integrated, and we are living life. Life is granted to us and moves from person to person through the electrical circuit current that we have amongst each other. All 7.8 plus billion people, give or take, some folks, some everybody in human. And so what they have done, remember, they persecute certain tribes. more than others. And now they're trying to do it to everybody. But that's neither here nor there for this video. So what they have done, we got to go to this doping agent. I don't know how to explain this. Was a little bit more advanced. But it was something else before the doping agent. Oh, what it was saying also is that there are certain people that exist, or certain humans, people, however you like to label us, humans, that crystal formation or crystal compound, else time. Okay, be safe, please. Don't have no fire hazards in that room. You and them phone chargers. I'm sorry, y'all. Their formation, crystallization formation, is not the same. So we're talking about that which exists internally, the compounds or the chemical compounds, or the, what was the term? I can't think of these terms. If I find it, I'll say it. Are different than humans. Crystallization in their bodies. So they're crystalline people, and we all share the same structure. It is defined in, God dang it, don't get complicated. You was going, you was flowing. Our atoms, molecules, ions are arranged in a highly organized microscopic structure. It's the same. That is a human. But then there are maybe some more inorganics. Listen to these various terms that I'm using, because we hear them trending everywhere. We don't know where they come from. This is where I'm saying this is where they're coming from. There are agents out here that were assigned, they were ordained, they was chosen, I do believe, from previous works by the creator of this world to come and form you. Because that God said, I am a fair and just God. I'm going to let them know. But I'm going to let them know impartial. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, there are agents among us. There are. They are doping agents. I'm going to go into that in a minute. But my point is, they are here, these agents, to inform you. This is where all these trending topics come from. These trending topics come from, and we jump on the bandwagon and we ride the wave of them. An example is like the event was a big one. The event is happening. The ascension is happening. Crystalline body. We're going to transform into that. We don't know where it come from. We don't even know what it means. We already possess the crystalline body. It's already is with us. This is how we're made. And any human being that is truly a human being has what? The atoms, molecules, and ions are arranged in a highly organized microscopic structure. All you got to do is go to Wikipedia and read and go to the article that talks about crystals and read about it. Maybe the spirit or these unseen entities will come help you see what they showed me. I don't know. Anywho, so we are crystalline beings, but not everybody is a real human. That's been a trend. We've heard that before. We can't make sense of it. The other day, these entities say, "Hey, these are those that look like you, but are not you. They are not human, and they have a particular crystallization compound that is fairly inorganic, and it has no, what's that word, elemental structure, periodic, no periodic structure. And also it says something that lactic or something, I don't remember. I would have to go read it. I don't want to read all that. That was a headache. But anyway, it went on. So hopefully I kind of made that make sense. If you can't take nothing else from what I just said, understand that, yes, we are crystalline beings, and our crystal composition already exists within a human body, and that's what makes us human. There are other people that outwardly look human, but their crystal formation, the order of we can say their molecules and ions are totally different. They're not structured. They're inorganic. They don't have any, they don't fit the no periodic structure or whatever it is. And they are not really human. They are agents. They are placed within the circuit of humanity, We're all, if you ever open up a circuit board, you see the little gold droppings. Well, each person in humanity, the 7.8 plus billion people, minus a few, because everybody ain't human. Each one of us is a what? A crystalline body. We are, what they call it, highly conductive. And together we create a whole grid or circuit board. And so it's when we are one and not interrupted by what? The doping agent, we flow, we grow, we flourish, we advance, we are humane. But the powers that be, the 1 or 2 percenters, they know these things about us. We don't know it. We just hear it what? In a tree. We don't know where it come from. So anyway, they place these artificial people. I know you heard that. These are the doping agents. And they are placed, let me describe how YouTube describe it as far as actual crystals. It said, I'm going to read this again. Please listen. It says, in semiconductors, a special type of impurity, an impurity, is called a dopant, uh, dopant. Drastically, this is what the dopants or the agents do. They drastically change the crystals. Who's the crystals? Me, you, and the 7.8 plus billion people, that portion of them that are real human. It drastically changes our electrical properties, our ability to spark, to jolt, to keep the current going, that humane current, that which it means to truly, truly be human. Anywho, I go on and I read, it says, semiconductor devices, which as transistors are made possible largely by putting in different semiconductor dopants into different places. That's to say that these agents that are over doping, or like even dope, you know what dope does. Most time when you take dope, some dope get you hype, some dope is an amplifier. It's like a regulator. Some dope get you amped up, some dope put you to sleep. So these agents are here to be a doping additive, I think it's say. And these agents are put in strategic places within the world or society, in specific, very specific locations within what? Various tribes, societies. What is it? Places and locations. Anyway, dopant is a doping agent. It's the what? What leads you to be dumbed down, lead you to pick up, to hear these trends, because the God of this world said, I am a fair and just God. I'm going to let them know what it is in part. Ha, ha, ha. And so these agents are assigned by the powers, the 1 or 2 percenters, or the powers, to dumb down the people. They're the doping agent. I'm trying to make it make sense. Anyway, the doping agent is a trace of impure element. What is it saying? It says in this circuit board of humanity, the true humans are interconnected, the circuitry, the inner energy flows, the electrical flows, but the powers that be insert these doping agents. These doping agents are not real humans. Their form is different. Their context is different, and they serve a purpose. They're not everywhere. They're not everywhere we are, but they are here and there in very strategic places, in our world and in our cultures and different things like that. And they are an impurity, and their purpose is to do what? Dumb down the population, but they use other words. Anyway, and the whole point is that the doping agent is an impure element which is introduced into the chemical material to alter its original electrical and optical properties. Meaning, it, like when you dealing, when I was in high school, I went to Voltech, and while I was in Voltech, I did aeronautics. meaning I worked with electricity. I was part electrical. That was part of the training. And so electrical currents have like a two, you know, I say is a 120 volt, 220 volt. And so that voltage is going to move through the circuit, and at certain time is depleted. That's a natural occurrence. And so they have I guess semiconductors, I can't remember all those things, or amplifier to boost the energy back up and keep it going. So in humanity, there are supposed to be people that exist that like help boost and keep the energy going. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know who we are. The powers that be know that who we are. So they put in certain strategic places along the circuitry of humanity that which depletes the voltage running through humanity. I don't know if I can make this make sense or not. Let me get through this one because this is very difficult. Anyway, a doping agent is a trace of impurity, an impurity element. This is introduced into the chemical material to alter its original electrical or optical properties. That's the change. The vibration that humanity should be on, we are not on. Why? Because of these doping agents. We'll talk about the doping agents next. I'm still going somewhere. Okay, I think just 4 more pages. The amount of dopant necessary to cause change is typically very low, meaning it doesn't have to be a lot of agents. It's only a few. They just have to be strategically planted. When dope into crystalline substances, we're the crystalline substances. When the dope hit us, or the tactics of the agents hit us, the dopants atoms get incorporated into the crystal lactase. What is that saying? I'm talking about being improperly influenced. I'm talking about the humanity being improperly influenced by this doping agent. That's to say, just being misled. We're going to go into it a little more, bring it down to earth a little bit. Anyway, summary. We are crystalline beings, interdependent circuit of electrical energy. Okay, read that. Okay. Oh, that was hard. Now I'm going into agents and outrage. But I really don't have to do the outrage because I began this video with the outrage. So right now, I'm just going to deal with the agents. I'm dealing with the agents because this is another part or continuation of the discussion that I had with these ethereal beings, these unseen beings, these forces over the since 2021 has begun. And it says, I talked about the insulting of the installation. Oh, okay. What I have to read here, what does it say? Why does this come after that? Agents and outrage. Agents are dopers. An insulted population or tribe is the installation between the protester and the agent. Okay. And so right now I'm talking about the agent. And so my question to these entities was, how do we identify the agents? How can we tell if they look like us on the outside, but their composition inside is different? If they are placed by the 1 and 1 and 2 percenters or powers, how do we identify them? And the answer is, you know them by their ways. Okay, you know them by their ways. I've heard that a long time. You know them by their ways. And so I'm about to list, I think, about 15 different traits you can look for, or not just look, but, you know, if it comes up, you notice it, you know, kind of really keep your eyes on a person. Oh, yeah, and then I'm done. So I've shared. I hope you enjoyed this Aquarius rant. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. You're here over at Can Angels Fly Tarot and more, because I do so much more, y'all. I'm an oracle. I'm a psychic. I'm a medium. I'm a tarot reader. But I just stay busy. I'm a nut in a hut. Okay, before I start reading, I want to drink some water. And I want to partake in my vices. Once again, I would suggest that you don't partake in the vice of cigarettes or any other vice for that matter if you can. But I'm going to do it. Why? Because I'm sinful. So, all right, let's talk about these agents. How to identify them. You know them by their ways, their traits, and things like that. Identify agents because they are among us. That's what part of the conversation was about. The agents are among us. Remember, these type subject matters or topics or they're trending. We hear about agents everywhere. What is an agent? Where did they come from? What is their purpose? Well, we talked about the purpose. They're here to dope us, put us to sleep, dope us down. Now we understand, because we are literally a circuit of electricity flowing. That's what creates this life and keeps us alive. And we understand, if you roll the wave and you understand three-dimensionality, three-dimensionality, because we are perceiving this reality on behalf of God. Remember, God is omnipresent. That is the three-dimensional experience. So, okay, now these agents, because they are a problem. The reason why they came up in the conversation, because they are an increasing problem. They've already been a problem. They were in hiding. People began to talk about them. You know, again, it was just like this trending thing, so we kind of dismissed that which is trending. This is a real issue. It's a real problem. So, basically, what I comprehended in my discussions is that these agents are about to be off the chain. They're already off the train. It's about to get worse. They're going to be misleading a whole lot of people, and we need to be able to identify them. That was my point of how we identify them. So, okay, here go some ways you can identify them. Let's see. It says they look like us on the outside, and they are 20, like with the crystals. They do it, the 20 effect, meaning like they I forgot what it's called. It's in Hollywood. They even do it in Hollywood, where they say Keanu Reeves in The Matrix was one of these type of he was chosen for the role because he could be somewhat of a blank slate that either one of us could feel like we could step into his shoes. He was us. You know, he was us. Everything that he was experiencing, it was us. He was experiencing it on behalf of. We could see ourselves in shoes. I can't remember what it's called, but they're saying that's what they do. Okay? But they're not really us. Okay? Look like us, but are not. Remember, their internal composition is not the same. Their crystal formation is not the same. They are what people call, quote unquote, the inorganic ones. It says, but their internal composition is a defective and or impure. It says, there are only a small number of them in comparison to us. Us who? The masses, the real humans that exist, whose crystal form is very specific and ordered and structured. It's a divine structure. What am I talking about? The crystalline body. Going on talking about how to identify these agents and their traits and stuff is, therefore, the agents, are promoted, they are popularized, sponsored. Moreover, these people are usually fairly attractive, beloved, famous, fashionable, favored, prominent, trendy, accepted, celebrated, very good at crowd pleasing, likable, lovable, social. They're in demand, and most of them are mainstream. And that goes back into that kind of method actor that is able to embody you and have you live vicariously through them. They're so, again, likable or adored or promoted, and that's for the reason. It's for a reason. It's so that the masses so that the humans will accept them, and keep them at the helm of their life and their experience here in this physical world, so that they can do what? Do their job. And their job is to do what? Be a doping agent, to mislead you, to dumb you down, to put you to sleep, to break the circuit, to improperly influence. This is real. This is interesting. Anywho, number 5, they are presented everywhere. They're everywhere in every facet, including but not limited to various social media networks. Number 6, they are skilled in communications, socialization, and mingling. 7, many lack depth and range of emotion. This was a good one. This was a good one. Because they showed me. It showed me this. Many who? Many agents lack depth and range of emotions. That said to me that these agents, these doping agents, are, what is it called? Void of emotion. They don't have any natural emotion. It's not a part of their composition. So they like mimic humans' emotions. So yes, they smile and they may weep and they may cheer or, have a solemn look, but it's all very intentional. It's very mechanic. But you got to remember, they are masterful. They're experts at this. They have been ordained or chosen for this particular mission to do what? Dumb down, mislead, misinform, miseducate the masses. And so it's like I saw it, they showed me, but I don't know how to convey it. It is okay. These people are out in the public. They were made to infiltrate and to make sure that those that are exposed to them accept them. Once they are accepted, they are again popularized. And they have to stay relatable to people, true humans. They're true crystals. And so they have to mimic us. Remember, they twin us. They have to mimic us. So when it's time to laugh, they laugh. But it doesn't come from their soul. And it shows. It's like when I'm doing these videos and these lives, there's always maybe a 15-second to 20-second delay between what I'm presenting and what you are seeing. It is the same thing with these agents. Yes, they laugh, but it's always this subtle delay when they laugh, when laughter is warranted or due. Yes, you're supposed to laugh in that second. But sometimes, have you ever told a joke and you had a hard time telling a joke? You can't stop laughing or chuckling when you're trying to tell a joke. That's a human trait. Can't get it out. You're trying to hold it in. And then by the time you get the joke out, you in a full blast laugh. Well, these beings, these agents, have a delayed response. Meaning they're the kind of person that can hold on to the laugh, tell a joke, and then chuckle and laugh afterwards. They can get it out without the chuckling and the sweating and trying to calm down, not to laugh or give that as a prank or a joke away. They can go into it, deliver it very directly, boom, then bust out with the laughter. It may be a subject matter to cry about, but when you are hurting, when you are sympathizing, and you are emotionally overwhelmed, think about again maybe how you felt as a human being when we experienced, or you experienced 9/11. I mean, grief. Once I told y'all my head was in the box at the eye doctor. Once I realized it was real, I was like, wow. I sunk. I immediately sunk. My emotions were, as soon as I knew it was real, it was like, woof. It was a wave. I was drugged down by it. And then by the time I got home and seen it on TV, I was overtaken. I was speechless. My heart was broke. See, their emotional response is merely a mimic of what humans really experience. So it's always this underlying coldness, even though they may cry. It's not there. It's not fully there. That's a sign they're agent. Life teaches. So I share what I've learned, and but the truth of the matter, no matter how I try to articulate it to you, these concepts and traits, only I believe truly life can teach you. But maybe if you are aware, you'll be more sensitive to when life is teaching you, so that you can do what? Get the lesson. Anyway, all right, let's see what else. Still talking about these agents so we can identify them. It say they go about methodically interjecting impersonations of emotions. Okay, I just went in depth about that. It says they formally, openly perpetuated the agenda of the system or some construct of this world, and now seem detached from the system or a social construct of this world. They are now working remotely. People with our current event, they're working remotely, or they claim retirement from the system or a part of one of the social constructs that they work for. Yep.
For that corn syrup.
Corn syrup. Mm-hmm. It's down here somewhere. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And many of them now are on social media platforms. Of course, as a direct result of our unfolding events. But rarely, this is the key, they rarely acknowledge their prior affiliation with the part of the system they work for or the social construct. They are acting like, or just wanting the people's awareness about that person, that agent's involvement with a social construct to just dissipate over time. They act like they're retired and they have disdain for that part of the system. But they've worked for that system some 10, 20, 30, 40 years, being improperly influenced and instructed by that system or that construct, and therefore paying it, moving it forward, projecting it forward to the people, misleading the people, and lying to the people. That is one of the traits of the agents. Identifying the agents. Let's see. They recall the God of this world, Yatabath, has ordained minions to inform the people, humanity, about all steps taken in the creation and the function in 3D reality. What was this one? I wrote a note to myself to say, recall the God of this world. It is said that the God of this world name is Yaltabath. It's not supposed to be Jehovah or the God that the Christian church said it was. It's supposed to be this entity called Yaltabath, and that is revealed in the book of books of the Apocrypha. But who knows? Okay. Anyway, it says he has ordained minions. I'm going back to when I did the video and covered when I did the video covering the subject matter. I think it's called "Forgive Us, God, for We Knew Not," in which I was reading the King James Version Bible, and it was talking about I was decoding it, and it talked about how the God of this world, whoever it may be, but keeping with the book of Apocrypha, Yaltabath, ordained certain people or entities. We know that they are artificial or inorganic ones now. Why? Because their crystalline structure is not the same as ours, and they are not an intricate part of humanity's circuitry. Okay, and so he ordained them. He literally chose them to perform certain works in different areas and aspects of this life, in this reality, within our constructs. He said, you tell them from this perspective in Hollywood. This is what the King James Bible said. Go to that video, watch it. I read everything. I break it down. I show you when you really look at the definitions of everything, what it mean, and how I show you. The video is called Forgive Us God for We Knew Not. Okay. Anyway, he said, hey, you character or men, you go into Hollywood and you tell the people that what is happening step by step along the way. It said, hey, you men, you go into politics and you tell the people what is happening step by step along the way, and so on and so on and so on. He commands and ordains all his minions to perform these tasks. He says, because I am a fair and just God, and I will let them know the truth about what is going on at any given time, every step of the way. But in part, ha ha. That's what it said. Go watch that video. Okay. It says, therefore, due to 3D changes, agents are busy managing the populace. Okay, that's why I mentioned it. Okay, why did I mention that about Yaltabaoth, the God of this world, supposed God of this world, and his minions and a mission to, inform humanity in part, is because right now, this world and our social constructs are undergoing what? Reconstruction is changing. So that's really why the conversation was taking place between me and these other entities, these unseen entities, because what changes are taking place. So the minions or the agents are excessively busy, more than normal, meaning they're more up in your face, they're more in front, they're more promoted. Why? Because their job and their mission is to inform you all along the way, step by step, inform you about what's taking place, because you will not be able to say you didn't know what was going on. Is what that God of the world, seemingly named Yaltabal, said. He said, I am a fair and just God. I will let them know about everything that's going on all along the way, step by step, at least in part. That's what it said. Okay. Now, the next thing is number 11. It says, look closely. Look closely. The agents have 2 or more faces. Now, what I'm about to talk about at this point in time is so subtle. It's like, remember I was talking about my experience in the mirrored bathroom, and how when I was undergoing that massive panic attack, someone said, shh, peace, be still. Nancy, shut up, close your eyes, and go within. Calm yourself. And after I was able to calm myself and I kept my eyes closed and my senses were not on overload anymore, they began to settle, I could start hearing. Remember, the friend house I was at was an architect, constructor, built his own house, but even in his excellence, he still made errors. There were small gaps in which air came through, especially under that door. It's that energy. It's that energy where Neo could stop or slow time and move out the bullet's way. Or even, what was the name of the movie? Dr. Strangelove, where he was able to, again, slow time up. That right there is something that may be a superhuman power that you may want to practice. And you practice it by what? Going within. See, all of these trending topics of going within, I am explaining. This, I guess that's what the conversation was really about, explaining these things to him. That's what I'm starting to see now when I look back at my work in retrospect. So anyway, what I'm about to present to you, still talking about the agents and how to identify them. These traits are so subtle that you got to go within in order to be able to pick up on them. That these agents, many of them have 2 faces, 2 or more faces. So that means, like, for instance, if it's somebody on a social media platform or on TV, when they turn one way, oh yeah, and another way they bring this up, I ain't thought about it. They're talking about reptilians and the eye shifting. They say, okay, dang, I want to tell y'all how I got this information, so y'all go check it for yourself. So you don't think I'm just regurgitating stuff. I'll try to think of it. what was going on in the conversation and what it led me to. So these agents have two or more faces, meaning like they could be talking. You know how they have the camera going from different perspectives, maybe a straight up perspective, side perspective, and switch another perspective. Their faces change. Even if y'all, hold on, the camera don't move, but you will see subtleties. The human face, another character trait about the human face, is that it is, they say, somewhat symmetrical. I think it's symmetrical. No, asymmetrical. Wherever it's kind of slightly different. Like they talk about women's breasts. One breast is usually a little larger than the other. They talk about the human feet. One foot is a little larger than another. That's normal. But these are total shifts in their appearance. It could be, I've talked about it when I did Spirit Talk, about the spirits that dwell within will surface on the skin, that kind of thing. You can see subtle changes that go in, the changes flicker in and out. That's something to look for in order to identify an agent. And the reason why their faces are shifting is the reason why their faces are shifting, because remember, they have to be relatable. And so they're presenting to you appearances that relate to you as unique individuals, as different tribes, susceptible to different things and appearances and vibrations and waves. They work on magic, boo. What was that lady in front of the beginning of the show? I can't remember what her name was. But yeah, magic. Anywho, still talking about the agents and how to identify them. They are performing mind manipulation and control done through gradual and varying color changes. Most of the colors are often soft, neutral, pastel type colors. It's this transition. Again, it's so gradual. It's playing with the mind. It's tricking the mind. It's manipulating the mind to open up and shut down at specific moments in time. At the same time, remember, these agents often are masters in communications. So they will state something or use a term that will get the viewer or the listener or the audience to agree with something that they want them to agree with or to disagree. It's magic. It's mental manipulation, but oftentimes triggered by just gradual change in the color, in the scenery, in the background, in the clothing, along with the faces that are subtly changing and shifting in order to be inviting to those that are in the audience, as well as in addition to the communication style, that those particular words, those trigger words and or statements. This is how you can recognize agents. Again, you got to go within. You got to do the peace be still and go within, calm down, and truly listen and watch and see. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more, and then we out of here. Once again, thank you for coming here to Get Angels Fly and riding this wave with me, doing this my first Aquarius rant of the year of 2021. And it says, some have no assigned category. This is something to look for now that we are working remotely. Social media seems like the primary media form to retrieve any information you want. It says, hey, some have no assigned categories on social media platforms. That is to say, they do not fall solely under any, again, category like entertainment or sports or science, etc., etc. They're just there. They're just there. They're being promoted. Okay. The next thing is they have free use, and I've talked about this before. Many of them have free use of data. Images, art, music, etc. And why is this? It is because they are representatives of an aspect of the system or the social constructs that are out here. And so because they are affiliated and or work for and or endorse or are in a contract with a part of the system or social construct, that social construct has what? They have the license. Hold on. Hello? What? Can't what? Oh, so why would? Huh? It came in the mail. You feel like I sound like you're lying to me. When? Where's that? Who got it? Oh, I'm gonna call you back. I ain't got it. Anyway, bye. But I want my money from you. Okay. Sorry, I knew that was a money call. I had to answer that one. If I don't get my money, I'm gonna be on the news, y'all. Okay. Anywho, the last few ways to identify an agent is I said so nobody. Some of them have no assigned particular category, on media platforms. Let's see. They have free use of data, music, images, and things like that. And the reason why is because they work under a particular construct, even though it may be remotely, they may not acknowledge it. So when you work under like major corporations or businesses or .govs and .orgs and things like that, they have licenses. Some of these licenses cost a lot, and I've talked about this kind of concept when I talked about professional journals. When I was in college, I had access to all type of professional journals because I was attending a university. I was attending University of Michigan, or I was attending Texas Prairie View, or I was attending, Michigan State. What was it? University of Michigan, Michigan State. I was attending one of those universities. And because I was affiliated with that university, whatever license they had to whatever professional journals, I could use. But once I didn't pay their tuition and I wasn't a part of it, I no longer could access those journals. Same thing relative to these agents. So they can get on here, play music, show all type of images over extended time period with no distortions or anything. It doesn't get taken down. It don't get flagged. And especially in social media, their backgrounds are very elaborate and sophisticated and very regulated. And it's why, because they have access to these various licenses that give them usage under the licenses and sharing the license. Let's see. Two more. It says oftentimes they seem awakened and proactive and overly optimistic. Remember, they know how to mimic human emotions. This tactic is used to lower your defenses, lower real humans' defenses, or real crystal beings' defenses. Um, and get the people to trust them. Remember, it's about being trusted and accepted by the masses, so that they can do what? Lead them and improperly influence them. And their ultimate goal, they've been ordained by the God of this world, is to inform them about what's taking place step by step uh, during any period in existence of this realm, but in part. Ha ha ha. They have been assigned to inform you of critical changes taking place, but to guide the people into the like NWO, or the New World Order, with minimal aggression. The whole thing is to make sure that the people, the true humanity, does not become overly aggressive or try to move and retaliate. So yes, they tell you the truth. It is in part. They bring these trends to you. We don't know where they come from. They mimic us. We enjoy them. We love them. We have forgiven them for many of their transgressions, or who they endorsed or represented or worked for. We sympathize with them. We all need money to feed our families and things like that. But the truth of the matter, many of these people, not many, it's a few in comparison to the human population. We have forgave them and allowed them to lead us and teach us and influence us. Okay. Anyway, but the whole purpose is for them to make sure that humanity does not become too aggressive, or to what? Wake up. Last but not least, the last way to identify an agent is, how long has it been today? The agents are among us. They are in every race. Their appearances often is an appearance of conformance. What am I saying? I'm saying that these agents are everywhere in every culture, a black, white, Chinese, everything. And again, they look like us outwardly. They're able to mimic our emotions and things like that. They're able to lead us to either really hate them and follow them or really love them and follow them. But what a part of their appearance, their personal appearance, is that they have this appearance of conformity or conformance. Remember, a lot of the colors that they use are very pale, neutral, natural, easy on the eyes, easy to mesmerize the human consciousness. Or hypnotize the human consciousness. They are clean, neutral, calm, direct, relaxed, and very, very knowledgeable. Hopefully this live stream made sense to you. It's one of the things that I think I should clarify. I don't think I did well. And it was talking about, and when I talked about all these different perspectives and how we perceive things, our perception, state of perception. Remember how I say this, we are each crystalline bodies. We already are. And each of us, true humans, just like, let me compare it like this to make this make sense. Remember, I was talking about my time in the art class in which we did the sketching of the nude model. The nude model, I'm comparing to try to articulate a concept. The nude model represents this existence, this experience, this physical experience. That's the nude model for humanity. The students, the 20 students that was in my class, is substituted by the 7.8 plus billion, give or take a few, because everybody ain't human, sitting around the model. Remember, the model is the experience in the middle on the stage. And all 7.8 plus billion people, give or take a few, are looking at our experience. We're seeing this experience from different perspectives, which creates our 3D reality. We are the circuitry because we are light beings. We are crystalline beings. We are circuit, and it's an electric current that flows through us, and we are stimulating life, and we create the 3D reality from all of our perspectives. I'm here, you're there. We're looking at life from different perspectives. Now, jumping and comparing the story I told you about my experience in the mirrored bathroom. Within this experience within this classroom we're in, we're sitting in our respective stools and we're looking at the subject that we're sketching, which is life. And there are so many different furnishings in this world. Remember that bathroom had the bare furnishings, the sink, the tub, the Facebook, the jacuzzi. And those few little furnishings in that bathroom further distorted my perception of what was taking place in that bathroom. I couldn't see, I couldn't think, nothing. I couldn't freaking hear. So in our world, what is taking place, I'm trying to convey this one because this was indeed, is that we can't see. We're in that state of sensory overload, just like I was in that mirrored room. Humanity is in a state of sensory overload. Number one, we are all seeing from a different perspective. We're seeing the same thing from a different perspective. And so our images are a little different because we're looking for different perspectives, but we're looking at the exact same thing. And then there is additional fixtures or facets thrown into our reality, like doping agents, agents to mislead us, etc., etc. It is capitalism, throw it all in there, racism, throw it all in there. And that all of those things being thrown in there represents a sink, a tub, comparison that is further fracturing our perception. So it's like, once again, the best way I can, best illustration I can show is this. This is why we can't see what is really occurring in this world. Humanity is in that together. We are in that bathroom in which we are experiencing sensory overload, or as they said in Wikipedia, perceptual deprivation, or something like that. It was overload to me. And remember, when you have that type of experience, you can't think, you can't hear, you can't physically see, you go blind in that kind of experience. You can't comprehend depth, space, time. You can't tell who you are from another person. You can't tell who you are from the agent. You can't tell that you're being doped up. All you are is in the middle of a space. You just there. You just there. Just like I was in that deprivation tank, sensory deprivation. You just there with a confused mind. See, the deprivation tank gave a person like myself the opportunity to be one with my thoughts, to control them, to organize them, and to release them. But when you're in a deprivation tank, remember, Wikipedia was saying, hey, if you are forced into a deprivation tank, sensory deprivation tank, it can cause hallucinations, cause confusion. It can cause depression. Again, it can cause you not to be able to perceive your environment because it's overwhelming. So one way or the other, what I'm saying is we can, be silenced, sensory deprived, can't hear, can't see, can't taste, can't smell. And if we're not ready, it can be detrimental to us. But we need to be able to enter that space. We got to be able to enter that space, is what I'm saying, in order to deal with the space that we're actually in. Because we're actually in the space, the opposite space of that mirrored bathroom, where everything is fragmented and we can't see, and it causes that kind of confusion, or it's like a dementia, I can imagine, state. That's where humanity is, real humans are, and we've been led to be there in that state. And the only way that we can actually get out that state is to what? Voluntarily go into that sensory deprivation state, or that alternate state that it talked about a person enters when they're introduced to such environments. You go into an alternate state, but you got to be able to be one with that alternate state. You got to be able to control yourself and your mind in an alternate state. Like I said, I ended up having to close my eyes and to listen, to feel, to sense, to be one with what was in my memory in order to get out that crazy bathroom. We're in the same position. Right now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say it. Right now, humanity is in that mirrored bathroom. We all are. We're in that mirrored room. And it's got a whole lot of furniture in it. So in this room, imagine this mirrored room, every part of the room is mirrored, the door is closed, and we have dropped into what's that place, Jordan Peele, the sunken place, in this mirrored room. And there's 7.8 plus billion people around life, existence, looking at it, can't tell what's what. Why? Because we in this room, the sunken, which is now called a sunken place. And not only that, then we got all the fixtures in the room with us, further fracting our perception of what is occurring. And that is what is really happening to us right now, and why we're having a hard time. I didn't do that well, but I think I explained it, but I can't explain it. But I think I did okay. Understanding what's going on. So one more thing before I go. I need to go back for a minute and talk about the ebony experience, those enameled with an ebony, and how for decades, my tribe has gotten the blunt end of persecution. Not the only ones, but in the last few decades. We have been considerably received the blunting of persecution. And by now, I believe with all my heart that we can't take no more. And it's not our fellow humans of another tribe that we want to beef with. We're not trying to, wage war on you or insult you. It only seems like that. That's what I'm saying. This sensory overload is causing us not to be able to see, including the Caucasian tribe or the white tribe, however you like to label that tribe. Even you can't see. None of us can see. We're not trying to wage war on you. What you're doing is standing in defense of the powers that be, the 1 or 2 percenters that we need to get to. Not just our tribe. By now, you should know it's also your tribe. I believe you know that because of what happened today. What's today? What's big in the news today? On January 6th of this year, new year of 2021. Till next time, y'all. Bye. Hopefully that made sense. Peace.